Welcome to Basic Brewing Radio for Thursday, July 2nd, 2026. I'm James Spencer. Here at Basic Brewing Radio, we're all about home brewing. This week, Steve Wilkes, Detlef Koertge, and I gather to taste our own beers that we've got issues with. It's kind of the old thing where you say, I think this might be bad. Taste it. Are there flaws, or are we just being too critical? If you want to support us financially, check out patreon.com/basicbrewing, and many, many thanks to everybody who's helping out in that way. If you go to patreon.com/basicbrewing, you can see a long list of stuff that you can access if you sign up as a supporter. On the day we recorded this week's interview, Steve and I also recorded a video episode tasting my French Saison, brewed with French hops from the hop sampler. Man, that beer's good. I used Elixir for bittering and Triskel for the post-boil hop stand. Financial supporters will see that episode first when it comes out, along with a behind-the-scenes video and the recipe. Thanks very much for the support. I'm sending out Brewers Logbooks, which are back in stock at basicbrewingshop.com. I've been getting female-looking names, which usually happens around Christmas time. It either means that, guys have been getting using their significant other's info to shop, or their significant others were buying gifts for Father's Day, birthdays, or other gift-giving occasions. If you're as hard to buy for as I am, sometimes you need to just write out and tell your spouse or partner what to get you, and just write it down. Our logbooks make great gifts and work well to have by the brew pot because they won't short out when you get them wet with a little wort or spillage, beer spillage, like maybe a tablet or laptop might. Hey, summer is here, and with summer, our favorite time of the year, festival season. From now through August 14th, the highly requested LO2 Fest strain from our friends and sponsors at Imperial Yeast is available in their Pitch Right homebrew pouches. Whether you're brewing a classic Märzen, Oktoberfest, Bock, or another clean malt-driven lager, LO2 Fest delivers the performance brewers count on. And if you want to get ready for September and October with a well-brewed and well-lagered Fest beer, you won't go wrong by planning it now. Don't be like me and put things off to the last minute. You know we love Imperial Yeast with 200 billion cells in each easy-to-open packet. My stir plate is usually dusty because I don't use it anymore to make starters for moderate gravity 5-gallon batches. Although, if you're going to make a lager, a true lager, and follow all the lager rules, you might want to dust off the stir plate, just to be safe. Foreshadowing for the rest of the show. But for beers like my French Saison, Imperial Napoleon just jumped right in there without a starter and was bubbling that airlock before bedtime and really got busy in there, so to speak. Get ready for fall now. Ask your local homebrew store about LO2 Fest, which is available through August 14th. You can check out all the dependable deliciousness at imperialyeast.com. That's imperialyeast.com. Okay, let's get together with Steve and Detlef in the Breakfast Nook. Steve Wilkes, welcome back to Basic Brewing Radio.
Thanks, James.
Do you want to introduce our friend?
Sure. What's your name? It's my buddy Detlef. And I'm sorry, Detlef, I still can't pronounce your last name because you're German.
Koertge.
Okay. So anyway, Detlef and I met because I owned the homebrew store, and he is a very fine German-style brewer from Nuremberg.
Right.
And moved to the lovely state of Arkansas some years ago, and we became friends at the store, really. And then, lo and behold, when my wife and I built our new house, we were looking at the property. There wasn't even a brick laid yet, and we were driving down the street and said, that guy looks familiar. That's Detlef.
So you're stalking him.
Kind of. And then I said, I really like that guy, but I sure hope he's going to be a good neighbor. and he turned out to be a great neighbor.
And a good brewer, which
is a benefit.
Brewer. Yeah, so those two are a good combination. So welcome, Detlef, again to Basic Brewing Radio.
Well, thank you for having me again. It's always a pleasure.
Now, the reason to get together, you, as we've mentioned, I think at least on the video program before, you made a beer that doesn't measure up to your standards. And Steve and I are kind of skeptical because you've also, I've had a beer at your house and you were like, I'm not sure about this. And Steve and I were like, this is great. This is fine. Give me all of it.
Yeah.
So what beer do you have that we're going to be sampling? And should I pour while you're talking about the
Absolutely,
beer, the
yeah.
recipe?
So this is basically my first attempt to brew a German Helles lager, really the way they brew it in Germany, which is at a very low temperature. So the whole fermentation happens at 55 and the lagering happens at 55 to 50. And I haven't done that because I had a problem with my equipment being set up in my garage, that when in the summer it gets really hot, I can't maintain that low temperature in my fermenter. So this time I brewed when the garage was at about 65, 70. So it was good for that kind of low temperature. And so this is a traditional German recipe. Let me see here. It's
a beautiful beer, by the way. You could shave with that foam.
Oh, yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. There's a Burma shave sign.
Just one after the other.
Yeah.
So it's actually a fairly simple recipe. Brewer's malt, 8 pounds, a 2-row. Then the caramel Munich 1, a pound, and 8 ounces of Carapils. So very simple malt recipe. And then the hops were at the 60-minute boil, Mandarina Bavaria at 6.6%, 60 minutes, and then 1 ounce of Hallertau Tradition at 10 minutes of the boil, 10 minutes left. And the yeast, that was the first time that I was brewing with it, were 2 packages of Lallemand Diamond Lager. And this is where I made a little faux pas mistake.
Now before, Steve and I have already had sips. Do you want to give first impressions before Detlef tells his tale of woe about the fermentation?
Well, Pilgrim, for my second impression, this is a very nice beer, Detlef. It may not be a absolute on the money Helles. I don't know if it is or it isn't, but this is delicious, and that's exactly what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah,
it pushes all the right buttons for me. It's creamy. It's got, to me it has the right hop balance. I'm not a big expert on what's a good Helles or not, but I've had enough good Helleses in my life that this is a good example of it. And I'm not sure I get what you're saying, but geez Louise, this is a good beer.
Yeah, it's the malt character is excellent. I'm getting a little bit of, I want to say just a teeny tiny bit of nuttiness, and I think that might be from some of your specialty malts, which I think is a good thing. It adds depth of character and flavor. It's super clean to my palate. I'm not tasting any yeast stress at all.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not tasting any negative.
I need to.
Yeah, you need another sample to make sure that you're tasting the right.
Well,
thing.
I just had a junior sample.
This is the BR549 yeast.
Yeah.
But I think it's wonderful, and I think if I had brewed this beer, I think that I would be extremely happy. But what maybe before you talk more about your process, what is it about this beer that you don't like, or what's got you worried about it?
I have to say something. When I poured this bottle this morning, before I came here, as the sample, I tasted it, and it tastes different now. No.
So it's just green. You're drinking damn beer green.
No, I mean, this was, I thought that what I'm tasting is diacetyl.
Oh, no.
When I first tasted it.
Yeah.
And I don't taste it anymore.
Yeah.
But this beer is now 2.5 months old.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the yeast kind of
Maybe it's
worked
had
itself
some time to
work through.
Yeah.
Did you when you tasted it this morning? Did it taste different from what it tastes now?
No.
Okay,
No.
okay. So this morning, what you tasted better than what you've been experiencing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when I first caked it, I let it sit for about 2 weeks, and I thought it was awful. I mean, but it doesn't taste like this anymore. I mean, maybe the time did its job. I don't know, but
Could it be that maybe it's had time to clarify? Some of the yeast has settled out even more out of solution, and maybe.
maybe, yeah. I mean, but like I said, this was my thing when I asked Steve if he can come over and taste it, because I don't really ever had a tasting with somebody who said, "No, this is diacetyl."
Oh.
I know it's supposed to be that buttery taste kind of thing, or you could call it a rubber taste. And I thought it was kind of a buttery taste that I felt there, but it's not that way anymore.
No, I don't taste it at all.
I don't get anything like that, and I don't get any rubber band. I don't get any circus peanut. I don't get any popcorn. I don't get anything that I
Yeah.
shouldn't taste in a beer.
I was surprised when I bottled it this morning because I took a little sip to see how it is, and it's different now. I mean, I haven't tasted it for about a month. So.
How long did you leave it in the fermenter before you bottled it? Or the second, or if you do a
2 weeks.
secondary, 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
I'm wondering about this, and again, I'm not an expert in German brewing at all, that style of brewing, or lager brewing, but aren't Hellas's lagered for some weeks, if not months, before they're packaged?
Yeah.
And so my
I
point
should-
being that maybe you just packaged it too quickly.
Yeah, maybe I should have left it in the fermenter.
But
Let me s-
but are they lagered on the yeast, or are they transferred to a lagering vessel and aged away from the primary yeast post fermentation?
I mean, when I was at Weihenstephan
Visiting,
visiting,
not employed.
not Weihenstephan, Weltenburg, they have it in the fermenter, a conical, big one, right? And they said it's in there for 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it goes to lagering, and that's a big old tank they have somewhere. So there's nothing in between, I guess,
Right.
where it sits then at whatever 50 degrees for a month or two.
Huh.
So maybe you're right. I mean, I don't know if they use the same yeast,
Yeah.
But that's a good point that I may want to keep it longer in the fermenter, and then because once it's in my kegerator, it's down to 39 degrees, so
Yeah.
the yeast gets really slowed down.
Well, that'll be a good segue into my beer, which I don't want to talk about, except
Right.
that I left mine in the fermenter for 7 months, or 5 months. And we'll get to that later.
So, what was the rest of your process? I interrupted your flow but you were thinking that you messed up somehow in the fermentation process.
Yeah, that was one thing, because usually what I do when I brew my ales, I basically fill up the fermenter from the mash tun, and then as it rises up in the fermenter, I sprinkle the dry yeast on top. Most of the Lallemand yeasts, when you read their spec sheets, say don't rehydrate, just sprinkle it on top of the wort and let it, over time it just disappears.
Yeah.
And then aerate and then let it do its job. For this yeast, Lallemand was specific that you have to rehydrate it. And I did that at the higher temperature. It was, I think, 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Celsius, and then let it cool down. And they say you have to bring it to the same temperature as your wort. My wort was at 55, and they said do not have a larger temperature difference than 10 degrees, I think, or 5 degrees it was. I don't remember. And if you need to bring it down, take some of the cold wort and pour it into the rehydrated stuff until it gets to that temperature, and then pitch it. I did not bring it all the way down. I think mine was still around 65, 68. And so And I thought that may have been the problem too, or contributed to the taste, that it got stressed, and then the stressed yeast produced a lot of diacetyl.
Well, I don't know what to add to that.
It fixed itself. And this is one thing that we often say, is that sometimes if you're not happy with your beer in the beginning, let it alone. Leave it alone. I know that when we used to homebrew in the very beginning, I mean, our beers probably weren't good or weren't the best they could be.
Right.
There were some challenges with ingredients back in those days. But you would bottle it, you put some priming sugar in there, and you'd wait a week and then start drinking them.
Yeah.
And I would set aside like a 6-pack in the back of the closet or whatever, and then a month later I would come back to it, and it was fully carbonated and clearer and just like wonderful compared to the early versions of the beer that I was drinking. Miles difference between the two. So maybe that's another one of these cases. Maybe it just needed to condition a little longer, and especially with a lager. I think that lagers are trickier, and we can talk about mine next. But yeah, I don't. This is perfect.
I think it's a great beer. I would be very happy to say I brewed this. And I remember the very first time I tried to brew. I wasn't even trying to brew a lager, but it was the first time I used Pilsner malt. And I'd been an extract brewer for 10 years maybe before I dipped my toe into grain. And the first 2 or 3 batches I made, I one of them was to brew with Pilsner malt. That thing had so much, I guess, diacetyl. I mean, it was nasty. I mean, it was nasty, but it wasn't bad. It was that I just didn't know how to properly care for the beer. There wasn't anything wrong with it. It would have cleaned itself up. But I didn't know anything about diacetyl rests. I didn't know anything about lagering. I was basically brewing an extract beer with grain, and I threw it away. And to this day, I think, I bet if I had just stuck that sucker in the fridge somewhere for a month, it'd probably been really good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess it fixed itself.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, seriously, it tasted bad in the beginning. I mean,
I'm sorry I didn't get over there. I was just not having a beer time in my life at that moment.
Plus, Steve has heard, being a homebrew shop owner, he's heard so many times, "Ooh, this tastes awful. Here, taste it.
Taste this. Tell what I do wrong."
And they never bring you the good beer.
I've been in therapy for that for some years.
They keep the good beer for themselves and then bring you the stuff that it tastes like kitty litter or something.
We should do not a brewing disaster show necessarily, or we can incorporate it, but we should do a horror story show.
Oh,
because I got a bunch of them.
Oh, I tasted a beer or two over time it's very seldom. I mean, I've tasted every beer, even if it smelled bad.
Yeah.
But I had a couple of times I had to force myself to actually take a sip, and I regretted it when I did. But hopefully this next beer won't be the same.
Let's move on. In the meantime, I'll tell you about the homebrewing customer I had who didn't know the difference between corn sugar and corn starch when he went to prime his beer. Wanted to know what he did wrong.
Oh, well, being from Germany, I had a similar problem, not with brewing, but with baking. I wanted to bake one of my mom's favorite recipes, and I used baking soda instead of baking powder. Yes. That thing came out solid as a brick.
I bet. Well, I told my customer. He said, told me what he did. He says it's like gravy. And I went,
well, it is gravy.
Yeah, and I said, leave the lid on it, put it somewhere nice and cool, and let it set for about a week, and then see what you get out of it. And he came back later and he said, you know what? It all settled out, and there's this big, thick thing at the bottom, but I siphoned the beer off, and the beer's pretty good.
He clarified it. He did. It was like using gelatin.
It's like a Georgia finding agent.
Well, here, cheers.
Okay, cheers. And what are we drinking, James?
This is my rice lager. And we had this on the video show. This is my lemon drop rice lager, 5-gallon batch, 9 pounds or 4.1 kilograms of Weyermann Pilsner, 2 pounds or 900 grams of broken sake rice. I mashed for 150 degrees, or at 150 degrees, 65C for 90 minutes. Into a 60-minute boil, I did 3 ounces or 85 grams of Czech Sats for 60 minutes. And then at the end of the boil, I turned off the heat, and then for a 10-minute hop stand, I did 2 ounces or 56 grams of lemon drop hops. Used L28 Urkel. It started at 1048, wound up 1006 for an ABV of 5.5%. Now, you and I tasted this beer before. It'd be interesting to see if you remember the way it tasted before and what you guys' impressions are now.
I don't actually remember. I mean, I remember doing it, but I can't. But I don't have a taste recall.
Right.
I do remember that I liked the beer, and I still like the beer. It's interesting that this beer has, to me, it has a stronger bittering charge than Detlef's. So it's a little bit bigger beer. It's lovely. What do you think, Detlef?
Well, it has a very nice fruity bouquet to it. That's one thing I smell here. And the taste, for my palate, I mean, this is one of those beers that's a little bit too thin from a mouthfeel. I guess that's rice in there, right? That's
Probably, yeah.
That's the Miller Lite and Busch Light kind of thing, where I have the same problem. Because the rice gives you, I guess, less mouthfeel.
Yeah.
It makes it lighter and also less calories, I guess.
I don't know about that.
That'd be a good question.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Because I don't know. I mean, they always advertise that a Miller Lite has so and so much less
Well,
calories.
but they use a different process. I mean, Budweiser also has rice in it, but it's not a low-calorie beer.
No.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
So no,
Okay.
the original Budweiser.
So and it's tasty. I like the fruity taste of it. And what were the hops in there?
It's Czech Sats for bittering, and then lemon drop
Oh yeah, that's it.
at the end. So maybe because I know it's lemon drop, I get a lemony citrus character. Now I got to say that this, and we don't have time for me to run up and get a sample off the fermenter or the keg. This tastes different from what I've been drinking out of the keg. This tastes better than.
Oh,
This is the false alarm show.
so this is this the beer that you packaged like a 6-pack or something in bottles?
I did a 12-pack of bottles
Okay.
and bottle condition. So I put priming sugar in each of the bottles, and then put the rest of it in the keg. So I don't know if I didn't purge the keg enough with the CO2 to push out enough oxygen, because the keg wasn't, it was half a case shy of where it usually would be, because I made bottles. Now this is bottle conditioned, so you would assume that any oxidation issues would be avoided because this has gone through another fermentation with the priming sugar in the bottle.
Right.
So this to me tastes fresh. With the beer up in the keg, I get a little bit of a nutty character that I don't get with it. Do you guys get any kind of a nutty character?
No.
The only thing I don't really mean this isn't a criticism of the brew or your brewing, but these like lemon drop, these kind of new world hops, they almost all have a little wang that I have a little problem with. And so in other words, I really gravitate toward Sats and Tetning and Hallertauer and Fuggles and EKG, these classic and Cascade for that matter. But the newer varieties that have come along in all the years of development, they're great. And I'm really not even knocking Lemon Drop necessarily, but I do get this kind of astringent bitterness that I find that in almost all of these kind of experimental 7452 and
I wonder if it's the process of the post-boil hopping, because oftentimes when people use those new hops, they want to get all the fruitiness, all the character out of them they can, and they'll either put them in the whirlpool or put them post-boil if you're a home brewer. And so they're not being fully boiled. So I wonder if there's just something in there that you...
Maybe. It's just how it affects my palate. And it's not a deal breaker. Don't get me wrong. Although there's a couple of them that I had that's like, I'll never use this hop again. But there's just a... I just don't have a word for it. A wang. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I noticed that too, and I couldn't put my finger on it, what that is. I mean, is that what you're talking about? Is when I drink this, I mean, at first I get that fruitiness, and then at a little bit later, I get another taste, which I can't really describe what that is.
That's called a long wang. It takes a long time to get it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, and again, this is my best way to describe that is a little bit of a metallic taste.
Yeah, I'd go there. I mean, yeah, it's a little metallic. It's a little coarse. It's a little sharp. I don't. Yeah. And it's not so. Here we are trying to find words to describe it, so it can't be that strong.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, I disagree. No. I think sometimes, in reading Randy Mosher's latest book, because of the way our taste sensors are wired to the brain, and because of where those senses go into the brain, and because of the way that it bypasses certain areas, like when you look at when you see. I can look at that bottle and say, that's a brown bottle. Yeah. I have no problem describing exactly what color that is or what brightness is. That just goes straight to my language center. Right. With flavor and aroma and, with taste, your brain has to process it. And that's why sometimes it takes so long to nail down, yes, exactly, that's the flavor I'm tasting.
Yeah. And I mean... While we're talking about that, one of the things is I mean, this is also probably related to the problem that some people have with cilantro. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, some things just taste different to different people.
Sure.
And I don't know. I mean, this was the best way for me to tell it after that fruitiness tapers off, that it's kind of metallic.
Yeah.
What I would describe it. I don't have a better word for it.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's just something that I've not experienced before.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other day, actually Tuesday, so this is Thursday. So on Tuesday, my brother Mike and I went on a not fishing trip. Actually, we went fishing, but we didn't ever see a fish. But we did find a good brewery. Any rate, at lunch, we had a couple of pints of North 40's IPA Rockhound.
Yeah.
Great beer.
Lost 40.
Lost 40, I meant Lost 40. And great beer. It's I think in Little Rock.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are.
It's their IPA.
And so we had their IPA, and I had one, and it was really good. And then Mike's like a Budweiser drinker, but he said, that's pretty good. So he ordered one. And they poured us like imperial pints. It was a good pour. And by the time his and mine warmed up a little bit, that hop astringency started to really be pronounced. And Mike could only drink about half his beer because he's not used to that. And I'm used to it, but I agreed with him in that, and this is not a knock on that brewery because it's a great brewery, but it was just interesting to see how the beer changed as it warmed and how the bittering charge began to really assert itself to the point that it was actually unpleasant. And so I would have rather have had 2 12-ounce beers than one 24-ounce beer.
Good point.
Is my point.
Yeah. No, I mean, this was something that when I was still living in Germany, I had a friend, he was a brewmaster, and that's what he told me is that, I mean, the temperature of the beer is important to how it tastes.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of beers here in America are served in frozen mugs because you can't drink them if they get up to 40.
Oh, I got a great story. I got to tell you guys this. So I was sitting in the airport in Minneapolis, and there's a woman sitting at the bar, which I was sitting at the bar too. But she's sitting at the bar, and she's drinking Heinekens, and she was drinking these really tall kind of restaurant-style Pilsner glasses. These things had to be 24 inches tall, but they were only about an inch and a half wide. She made them pack it with ice, and she was drinking Heinekens out of that, and she was skunked. I mean, that woman was 8 sheets to the wind. And I remember, to this day, I remember her saying, I just love this as long as it's ice cold. And I said, yeah, there's a reason for that.
Yeah. So, and that's probably why a lot of people here in America think, or say it to me, yeah, you Germans, you drink your beer warm. I said, no, we just don't drink it as cold.
Right.
Because, I mean, most of the beer is served around 40 in Germany. And it's also much less hoppy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I agree. I mean, you can't drink an IPA at 40 or 42.
Yeah.
And what's the English beer, British beer is more like, what, 50 degrees Fahrenheit, or what is that, 15?
I don't remember, so I don't
Something,
quote
so-
it, but it's a little bit warmer than we would drink it here in
It's
the
still
States.
not warm. It's
No.
not like room temperature.
No.
Well, you know what? I mean, a lot of times when I am tasting one of my beers and I forgot to put one in the fridge, it keeps in my little pantry, and it's about 72 degrees in there. I go ahead and drink it. It's good.
Yeah, and a lot of it depends on the style,
Sure,
probably.
of course,
but,
yeah.
like, for instance, last night we were tasting Scott Housel's beers, our homebrewer friend out of Florida, and I had those beers out for like an hour and a half or something, so they were definitely room temperature, and they were great. Of course, they were tart beers, they were sour beers, so it's a different thing. But so you're not tasting any like fermentation flaws, I guess is the thing.
No.
So, because what I did was I got lazy, and I pitched the package of Urkel with no starter, and I didn't aerate with oxygen, as I should have. I put it down in the basement, and I shook it to aerate. I put it down in the basement. It wasn't bubbling at bedtime. It wasn't bubbling the next morning. I got a little nervous, so I roused it up. I picked up the carboy and I shook it around, and I got the yeast back up in suspension. I thought, that'll do the trick. The next morning, still no bubbles. And I was like, uh-oh. So I got my oxygen tank and my little air stone, and I gave it a real good dose of oxygen. Roused up the yeast again. The next morning, it was up and running. So I thought, oh my God, now I've stressed out the yeast.
Yeah.
So that's why I guess I'm a little paranoid about that because I didn't do my job as a brewer well, especially when you're dealing with a lager yeast. You need to make sure that you take care of it.
Yeah.
And making a starter. And I looked at the packages, a couple months old. Still not out. It should have been just fine, especially with a starter. It should have been just fine, but I was lazy. I get spoiled by imperial yeast, like this Napoleon. We just had this saison for the video show, and that Napoleon got to it before the end of the day. The airlock was chugging along. So again, here's another beer that, at least this example from the bottle conditioned bottle, is fine. We may quibble with the recipe a little bit,
Yeah.
but as far as the fermentation performance or the those characteristics, I think it's okay.
So we both had a fermentation faux pas.
And yet we survived.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Now it's kind of interesting because I heard you saying that you that you have an oxygen tank, and I am brutal. Even though people tell me not to do that, I have an aquarium pump with two stones.
I have one. I don't use it, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I mean,
I bought one
because when I started brewing, they said just shake the fermenter, right, to get oxygen in there, and that's just room air, right? What you put in there. So then I said, well, I mean, aquarium pump may do as well.
Well, and also the books, like I think even like Charlie Papazian's book, will be like, shake it for 5 minutes. You try to shake 5 gallons of beer for 5 minutes.
I'm not going to shake it for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that ain't going to happen.
No, but an aquarium pump is fine. Especially you can get a little, what is it, a microfilter or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And you have to theoretically run it for longer to get the same amount of dissolved oxygen as if you're using a pure oxygen tank.
Yeah, I let my pump run for about 10 minutes.
Oh, that should be fine.
Yeah. And I have 2 stones. I have one of those pumps with 2 hoses, so I put 2 stones in there. And I mean, I have to stop it halfway through because I get so much foam on top of the thermidor. I have to wait.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to tell a near brewing disaster. A while back, I got a couple 3 batches ago. I bought a new brewing bag from the brew bag people, and the weave is tighter than my original bag. So if I've got a bunch of grain in my colander, in my brew in a bag setup, I've got to watch it because the pump runs faster than the wort can drain through the weave of the bag. And so it was a pain in the butt last time because I had to keep stopping the pump, stirring the mash to let the wort go down enough to where it would recirculate. And I took out the when I was cleaning the equipment, the coil on the bottom, the electric coil, was actually scorched.
Yeah.
So it had run dry.
Yeah.
Or nearly dry for at least some of that time. Luckily, you can't taste it in the Saison.
No.
It doesn't taste burned at all.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go back to my old bag, which has a couple of holes in it, but at least it's not going to. So if anybody is in the market for a slightly used too tight weave brew bag, let me know. But so anyway, that's one thing to watch out for, and one thing that I had never encountered before. I'd never scorched my coils.
Well, I have, and there's a salve for that.
Yeah, I was going to say this. We all know how painful that can be.
That can be really painful.
So what are we drinking, Steve?
Okay, so we did a video on this show last month, and I think you named it Mature Single. And that's kind of what it turned out to be. This was originally supposed to be just a Belgian wit. I actually brewed the beer about the 1st of November 2025. I bottled the beer on Memorial Weekend 2026. And it sat in my 34-degree refrigerator in the fermenter on the yeast for those many weeks. And a couple of times I started to just throw it away. I told my wife, I just couldn't get to it. Didn't matter why, I couldn't get to it. And I said, I think I should just dump that out. But my better brewing sense said, don't do that. And I eventually got to it. So let me tell you about the beer a little bit, for those that didn't see the video. It's a 5-gallon U.S. gallon batch, 5 pounds of Viking extra pale malt, 5 pounds of soft red wheat flaked from Brice Malt House. That's it. That's the grade bill. The hop build in this is 1 ounce of Hallertau Mittelfrüh at 3.3 alpha acids for 60 minutes and a half an ounce of Hallertau Mittelfrüh at 30 minutes. That's it. That's the hops. I did do water treatment on it. I'm not going to go into all that, but use the water that you want and the way you want to use it. I also made a mistake, which Detlef pointed out to me in a very nice way. When I went to the homebrew store to buy yeast for this, I kind of thumbed through the yeast they have, and it's a lovely little store, but it doesn't necessarily have exactly what you want the day you want it. So they had some Abbey yeast that was fresh from Lallemand, and I said, I'll use that. I didn't even think about it. I didn't think critically about the yeast I was buying. It was just, it's Belgian, I'll use it. So really kind of the wrong yeast for a wit. Really more of an Abbey, a monastic brew. And, that's about it. I mashed 150 degrees Fahrenheit for 60 minutes, brew in the bag. That's about it. And then I bottled it up, and this is the beer we have. So it's not a Belgian wit because when I brewed it, and before I put it into the lagering tank, also known as my refrigerator in the garage, I didn't add any coriander. I didn't add any bitter orange peel, which I had all bagged up in a little bag. I was going to throw it in there, and I just didn't do it. So then months went by, and then I bottled it, and that's the beer we're drinking. On the video, we discussed it, and you pointed out that it's really like a Belgian single.
Yeah.
And it is. I mean, that's
Or
really,
I think you said Belgian Golden Ale.
or Golden. It kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of either of those. It's a 5.3, I think, percent beer. The original. Hang on. Yeah. So it I can't find the original gravity. The final gravity was 1.008. I'm looking for the original, and I can't find it in this little software. But 1049 was the original gravity. So, this is kind of the brewing disaster show where everything turned out okay. I mean, all three of these beers.
Yeah.
Where there's just something we didn't think was right, or something that didn't go well for whatever reason, and then all three beers are really pretty dang good
Yeah,
beers.
this is a really good beer. It's very clean. You might hear the drone of a mower in the background. Hopefully, it won't get too close to the house.
Yeah. So, guys, tell me what you think. Be brutal. Give it to me.
I think it's good. I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all.
I liked it. I mean, first when I got the bouquet, I mean, this has a very interesting bouquet.
Lean in, Detlef.
Yeah, sorry. Very interesting.
Too relaxed.
Very interesting bouquet. It's very tasty. I like that yeast. I've been brewing what I would say real abbeys with it around 7.5%, 8%.
Yeah.
And it always came out really nice. It's a really nice yeast. And but this has obviously less alcohol, but it's one of those, I would say, one of those summer beers. That you can,
It's crushable.
Yeah, it really is. It's not so strong that it knocks you out, but it's a beer.
And I like the unique taste of it. I mean, this is
I never quite had anything like that before.
No, I mean, this is not in a bad way. I mean, because I always have 2 or 3 beers on tap. Because I like to kind of mix things up and not just drink one beer, like getting the 32 can packages of one beer and that's what you drink, kind of thing. I like to try different things, and this is something it's really good taste.
Thanks.
It's really good taste. Going back, what was the grain bill there?
5 pounds of extra pale malt, 2-row malt from Viking, which is a EU brewhouse. I think they probably gather the malt, the grain from wherever they get it.
I think they've got 5 malt houses.
I think
across like Scandinavia and Europe.
And so this is my first time brewing with that malt house and that grain from that malt house, and then just 5 pounds of Breeze soft wheat.
Oh yeah,
soft flaked wheat.
I think that's good. Yeah, because with the wheat in there, that gives it a really nice taste. I like that. I have to memorize that.
and as I recall, when we did the video show, we eventually swirled the yeast up.
Oh,
and
that's
we
right.
decided that we liked
That's
it
right.
even better with that little yeast.
So this
wang.
is the yeast
Yeast
wang.
wang.
You need antifungal for that.
That's right.
Yeah,
But
that's what we
but
do.
it really, but it did transform. Oh, and by the way, and then when I got to bottling, because it had been lagering for so long, I decided that I really needed to pitch a fresh pitch of bottling conditioning yeast. The bottling conditioning yeast I used was Nottingham because that's what I had on hand. But I think it brings out that Belgian character, and I'm sure that there's a ton of the Abbey yeast in there as well. But it really brings that up, and it brings the just a little bit more of that kind of saison-y character to it, a little that farmhouse character. And I got to where I've been swirling the yeast up when I drink one anymore.
Yeah, that's one of the things we do in Germany with the Weizenbier. You know, we get it in the bottle. It has that yeast cake at the bottom, and then you put that in your beer.
I took some. I didn't have much of your beer left, so I poured some of the dregs out of the bottle, and I mixed a little bit of my French saison in with the.
Yeah,
it tastes good.
tastes good. Well, I actually think I prefer it with the yeast swirled up. That, rather than the clean pour that you get if you decant it, which is still, like you said. I mean, I agree. I think it's a good beer. Luckily. But boy, when I swirl that yeast up and finish the beer off with it, I really like it. It's a lemony, a little more tart. It's kind of more refreshing. It's brighter on your palate. So yeah, that's it.
How long was it in the fermenter? 2 months?
Well, you'd have to count. I can't do the math quite for it, but I put it in the refrigerator probably about November the 10th or 15th.
Okay.
and then I took it out of the refrigerator, the lagering tank, on Memorial Weekend.
Is it May? It's in May, right?
Late May.
So,
12th.
so December, January, February, March, April. So about 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
Oh,
It just sat there at 34 degrees, completely sealed. I mean, clearly it's not infected or anything like that.
and
So
it
don't
pro-
throw your beer out.
And it proves your point that it doesn't really matter to have that sitting on the yeast for that long if it's a small ferment.
That's my theory. I mean, I'm
And
sure,
especially if it's that cold, too.
and it's that cold, and that thing was clear. I mean, it was clear as a bell in 3 days, but it had a long time to sit there. And I had a beer when I still had the shop. I remember brewing a Munich something or other, and I threw.
Is that how it's pronounced, Detlef?
Yeah,
Munich something, yeah. We have a
Something
bunch of
or other.
There
those.
was something or other Munich. But anyway, I poured it. I
Something or another.
and I left, and I had to leave it for longer than I wanted to. And thank you. And the beer was great. I mean, I don't have any more story than that. It's just that it didn't. When I thought, God, if I don't bottle that immediately, it's going to be terrible. It wasn't terrible. Now that doesn't mean you can leave it at room temperature in your bathroom for 6 months.
No.
That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You've got to have the right place to store it. But if you think about it, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Detlef, but like when you brew an Oktoberfest, you brew it in March because it's a Marzen to be drank in October.
Right.
Duh.
Yeah.
I've poured another Detlef beer, and these plastic cups, I think they encourage foam production because this is another beautiful foam stand on this beer. What are we drinking? This is kind of a bonus beer because you don't have any doubts about this beer. This is another beer.
Now this is this is something that I brew on and on again. It's from my hometown Nuremberg. It's called a Rotbier, which means red beer. It's similar to an Irish red, a little bit different malt bill probably. And I think I did a little bit too much carbonation on this one.
Oh no! Well, I think the cups encourage foam.
And so this one actually, I didn't have a problem with this one. I think it turned out nicely.
Yeah.
The malt character, the roastiness. It's not. Well, maybe I shouldn't say roastiness because it's not like a porter or a stout.
No.
But there's definitely toasty, biscuity character that's really nice.
It's a little sticky. It's got a little that stickiness on your lips. You drink it, it's like, man, that's good.
There's a little teeny tiny bit of raisin. Are you getting any of that? Like I say, it's not it doesn't taste like a stout. It doesn't taste like a porter. It's not it is a darker beer. It's a red beer.
What's a grain bill?
So that was also a 5-gallon or 20-liter brew here with 8 pound of my go-to base malt, the brewer malt, 2-row, then 1 pound of caramel malt, 40, 1 pound of melanoidin, 8 ounces of Victory. I like that biscuit.
I love Victory.
I love that biscuit
I
taste.
do too.
And 2 ounces of Black Prince.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
To bring the color
For the
down
color.
a little bit without
Yeah.
changing the taste as much,
Right.
because the Black Prince doesn't have the hull, so it doesn't add any bitterness or anything to it. Then hops this is a 3 hop additions. It's started out at 60 minutes with 1 ounce of Pearl, 6.4% alpha acids. Then at 30 minutes, 1 ounce of Select Spalt at 3.7, and then at 10 minutes, 1 ounce of Hallertau Tradition, 4.5 alpha acid. And then my favorite yeast to use for that, because it doesn't have that much attenuation, so it keeps a little bit of residual sugar, is the Safale SO4.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
So that's one of my go-to beers when I'm in the mood for something a little darker.
It's really good. It's been so long since I've used a crystal malt.
Me too.
I used to use crystal malt in every batch.
Oh my God!
Every
I'm
single
embarrassed.
batch.
Everything had to have a pound of this.
Pound of Crystal 60. Every single beer, pound of Crystal 60.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I actually, obviously, the breweries in Germany, they don't tell you the exact ingredients, but that brewery, they actually put down what malts they have in that beer in Germany, but not how much of each. So I kind of eyeballed it.
It's like a technical in the Great British Baking Show. They give you the ingredients, they just don't tell you how much to use.
Just enough to get you started.
So, yeah, that's one of the beers that I really like, and it reminds me of my hometown.
That's pretty cool, Detlef.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And like I say, the malt character is super interesting. It's bready, but not like a dark bread.
Right.
But there are just a couple of hints of, like I say, of dark fruit, just a little bit, or toasted.
I get a little of that dark stone fruit or dehydrated fruit.
Yeah. And or toasted, toasted bread, toasted bready, biscuity.
I think that's the victory coming to the party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the Crystal, how much Crystal 40 was in there?
1 pound.
1 pound. Okay,
That's almost a Crystal Gale.
it's at least a Crystal Breeze.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a hair in mine. It's 5 feet long. But I think that the Crystal, obviously, it helps with the mouthfeel. I mean, that's probably one of the major reasons to use Crystal is to give you, and maybe if I'd used a little Crystal in my lemon drop. But that goes against the purpose. I mean, the purpose of the rice is to dry it out and to have a thinner beer, a thinner drinkable mouthfeel. So it's apples and oranges. It's a different deal.
You could have, I don't know if it's a crystal malt or not, but I guess you could have used little carapils.
I think that technically is a crystal malt.
I think it is too.
It's a caramel malt.
Sure.
In the process, they essentially take the wet malt and then they heat it to mash temperature and convert starches into sugar inside the grain, and then toast it to a certain depth.
Right.
It's my understanding.
So is it kind of like Crystal Malt Zero? I mean, you have 10, 20,
Yeah. Well, Well, we'll have to do some research on that.
Somebody smarter than us.
Yeah.
John Palmer, maybe.
I'm sure he knows.
Yeah.
And then I forgot, since this is kind of the German kind of beer thing, I did my famous step mash. Dough
Of
in.
course.
So dough in at 95 for about 5 minutes, then protein rest at 125 for 10 minutes, and then 30-minute rest at 143, another 30-minute rest at 162, and 172 mash out, and then another 15 minutes sparge at 172.
Wow! And you've got I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but because we're nearing our time, but you've added a couple of new toys to your collection since we last got together.
Yeah, the one toy that I showed you, I think I posted it one time in our text, was that glycol chiller, which I sent back.
Oh, you did?
Which, see, this is, I'm an engineer and I should know better. And I looked at the specs and I said, oh, that should be fine, But then when I finally got it home and I did the actual math, I found out that thing will never help me to chill the mash, the wort down in the time I want. It was just not powerful enough. And after I really sat down and did the math, I knew that. But when I was just doing it in my head, kind of, that should be fine.
Yeah.
It just didn't pan out. I mean, it would have been fine just to hold the temperature at 55, but to chill the wort from boil to the 55, I tried it, and it took 1.5 hours.
I can do that with 20 pounds of ice.
I know.
Exactly. Right.
I know.
Yeah. My method is to knock the initial heat off with the tap water
Right.
From the hose, and then recirculate. I have a pond pump, and I put ice water in a cooler, and I recirculate that 32 degrees Fahrenheit,
Right.
0 degrees Celsius. I know that one. Water through the wort, and I can chill down 5 gallons with, like you said, probably 20 pounds of ice.
Yeah, more or less.
In certainly less than half an hour.
Oh yeah. Now that's what I do. What I used to do. First I get it down to about 100 degree Fahrenheit.
Right.
With tap water.
It plateaus at about
Yeah.
that, and depending on the time of year, because in like August, our tap water is probably 80 degrees.
It's
So
already a boil temperature.
I know this was one of the surprises I had here. Was I turned in summer the tap water
in the
comes
winter,
out
it's
75.
fun to brew in the wintertime because just using tap water, you can get it down pretty quickly. But
Yeah, so that's what I do. I get it to about 100, 110, and then I do the rest with ice. And I have a plate chiller, so I just
okay. Yeah.
And so it's about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I get it to the 60 or 65 or whatever I need. Yeah, so I returned that thing. The other thing I'm still working on is I got a CIP, a clean in place.
Oh yeah,
spinner.
Yeah, you sent me a picture of that. I thought it was some sort of marital aid. I didn't know. I was like, "What is that?"
It looks a little bit like those plugs, I know.
It's a family show, Detlef.
And so it basically you have a pump, and then you can circulate the cleaning agent through, and it kind of rotates and kind of goes around. I mean, they have it in those professional tanks on top, and so I have that SS Brewtech fermenter. You had one at your shop, the little tank, and they usually don't have a sip attachment to it, so I kind of jerry-rigged that in there. So I still need to hook up the pump and get that circulation going. But that, because cleaning the fermenter I'm very meticulous about keeping stuff clean when I'm brewing, specifically when it goes in the fermenter. I mean, in the mash tun, you cook everything anyway, so it's like, know. But when it goes into the fermenter, you don't want anything bad in there, or some old stuff or whatever. So, and it's just, it's doing it all by hand. It's just a pain. So I just hook up the pump, let that thing do its cleaning thing there, and then. But I still need to finish that.
It's one additional safety step.
Yeah, it is. And what you're talking about sparked a little thought in my mind that I want to point out. In my beer that we critiqued, I did a no-chill. So in other words, I let it cool on its own.
Right.
Down to pitching temperature. So again, not according to Hoyle, but that's how I did it. And actually I brew that way a lot because I'm just really lazy. But mostly it's okay. Mostly that works. And unless you have a issue with contamination, and you're not trying to brew a very technical beer, I guess I'll put it that way. It works pretty damn good.
Or if you, like, for instance, my beers that I've been brewing lately with the hops in the post-boil hop stand, you wouldn't want to do a no-chill there.
Right. Yeah, if I'm brewing a beer that's really about hops, they don't do that.
Yeah.
Because you're going to just lose, they're just going to become mushy, the flavor of the profile.
Yeah, I was going to ask that because the last hop edition would still get more bitter than if you
it would have time to isomerize in the heat of the even if it's what's the isomerization temperature? It's like over 170 or
somewhere in
150
that 160 170
so
that's I've never tried that. One thing I still want to do is a no boil.
I've never done. James does those. I've never made one either. I've never done a no boil or
just go to mash out 170 and then.
I have with extract, but that's a different animal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's got to be a pasteurization step.
Yeah.
But
when you go to 172 at the mash out, that should be fine for
if you were to hold
minutes.
that for just a few minutes. It's the curve. I've got it in one of my cookbooks in J. Kenji Lopez Alt's Food Lab cookbook, there's a handy graph on there of pasteurization temperature versus time.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, the USDA says that you've got to bring your chicken to, 165 or 170, and it's good.
Mm-hmm. My chicken did not like that, though. It squawked. I never heard such a racket. Poor little thing's feet just blistered up.
But if you bring your chicken up to like 150 and make sure it's there for like, I don't know what it is, 5 or 10 minutes, it's perfectly safe to eat. Now, whether you like the texture of your meat, of your chicken that's been cooked to that or not,
I need my chicken a little more done.
That's a matter of preference.
However,
but
pork
theoretically, and sous vide, you put a chicken breast in a sous vide and you bring it up to say 150 and you keep it there for like an hour. It's going to be perfectly safe to eat. But yeah, like you said, pork chops.
I do mine down to about 140 and hold them and.
Yeah,
and the meat's much better.
Yeah,
it's much better to eat.
Yeah, when you go to 150, 160, I mean, on the pork chops they get really dry.
Oh yeah,
and tough.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is just rough.
But you got to think, and this is way off topic, but the USDA is idiot proofing the process.
Yeah,
so that if someone brings a chicken up to 150 degrees Fahrenheit and takes it right off the grill and serves it up right away, that's not enough. But you can take it off and let it even rest for 10 or 15 minutes. It's still going to be at a pasteurization temperature for that time. And the same, to bring it back around, similar points are, it's the same for wort.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yep. All right.
Well, this has been more fun than a slice of ham.
I was wondering where you were going to go with that. Thanks, guys. I think that this went really well, and I hope that people get some useful information out of this. It's not just three guys drinking beer.
Well, to me, the message is don't worry, relax, have homebrew.
That's excellent.
Who came up with that?
You should put that on a bumper sticker.
I should.
All right, Steve. All right, Detlef. Thanks for coming over.
Well, thank you for having me again. It was really nice.
Thanks for sharing beers.
Yeah, no kidding. Wish I didn't have to drive to a lovely little German wine town this weekend where I'd sit and drink beer.
Well, thanks again to Detlef and Steve. Relax, don't worry, and have a homebrew, as Charlie Papazian says. And by the way, I just did as I was writing my notes, I did a quality check on my rice lager from the keg, and it's delicious too. So I don't know what's going on with my taste buds. They're fritzing out in my old age. If you have brewing questions, show suggestions, or just want to say howdy, write to james@basicbrewing.com or just fill out the contact form at basicbrewing.com. And please don't forget to tell us where you're from. Check out our mobile-friendly shop at basicbrewingshop.com. Our brewers' logbooks are back in stock, going out the door. Thanks to everybody supporting us through our Patreon page. Special goodies coming your way. Check that out at patreon.com/basicbrewing. It's all until next time. Until then, thanks for listening, everybody. I'm James Spencer. Production help for Basic Brewing Radio and our website is provided by Kelly Dodson. Basic Brewing Radio is a production of Active Voicing. We'll talk to you next time, everybody. In the meantime, stay well and stay tuned. So long.